How's the market doing? If you're thinking about buying or selling a house in Brighton, Colorado, you're probably wondering about the current market. That information is coming right up. Hi, I'm Natalie, Randall, former teacher turned realtor and real estate strategist, helping people make their move in and to the Denver and Greater North Denver areas. Now, if you want to know everything there is to know about living in Denver and the North Denver area, start now by hitting that subscribe button. It'll also help my self-esteem. And make sure to tap on that bell so that you're notified anytime there's a new market report video that we've made just for you. In light of recent events, it can be a bit tough to determine how the market is actually performing. I do love data and analyzing things. I know, call me a geek, but numbers and stats, well, they make me happy. So let's take a closer look at what Brighton, Colorado did in the month of July, which we titled as an August report because that's when we have all the info that we actually need. So last July in 2019, there were 105 single family homes for sale. This July in 2020, there were 120 new listings. That's a total increase of 14.3%. Holy smokes, that's what I call a hot seller's market. It's fair to say that the numbers are a bit skewed since everything progressively slowed down with mandatory shutdowns. However, what we're actually seeing is that our current market more closely resembles what we would see in a normal spring market for the Denver area and all the extending North Denver suburb areas. So last July in 2019, there were 101 single family homes that were sold. And in this July 2020, there were 108 total single family homes sold. That's a 6.9% increase, which is outstanding. Before I get too much further into this, I think it's worth noting that a lot of times a buyer will ask me, well, if there's so many homes selling and there's an increase, does that mean I should buy? My answer to this question is always going to be the same. You need to sell when you need to sell, and you need to buy when you need to buy. There is no such thing as timing the market. Base your home purchase simply off your financial well-being and your ability to purchase and afford a home at any given point in time. Notably, interest rates are still incredibly low. So if you've been sitting on the fence and questioning whether or not you should buy, and it's really not a matter of affordability, it may be worthwhile considering those low interest rates and trying to take advantage of those with our current market. The median sales price for a single family home in July of 2019 was $410,000, and the median sales price for a single family home in July of 2020 is $430,576. That's an incredible 5% increase. Let's talk about what is another important factor for sellers, and that's percentage of the list price received. So what this means is you list your home at a certain price, and then the percentage of that list price is what you will actually receive when your home closes and is sold to a buyer. So in July of 2019, our percentage of list price received for single family homes was 100.1%. In July of 2020, the percent of list price received for those single family homes was 100.5%. Along these lines, notice that although the percentage of list price received is important because it does indicate a buyer's perception of the value of the home they're interested in purchasing, it's also important to know that pricing your home competitively in any market will render a sales price close to or above list price. Now, this next stat that I'm going to share with you is actually one that I get most asked about from both my buyers and sellers, and it's called days on market. So what this statistic actually means is how many days on the market does the house sit until it goes into an under contract or pending status. In July of 2019, the average home in Brighton, Colorado that was single family sat on the market for 29 days before going into a pending status. In July of 2020, the days on market decreased to 24 days. This is great because it actually means that if you're a home seller, your house should sit on the market less than it would have a year ago. And it's about a 17.2% decrease from what we saw compared to last year. Now, what does this mean for buyers? Well, what it means for buyers is that currently our market is still hot. And if you're one of those buyers that's having a hard time making a decision about which house you love and you fall in love with one in particular, it's worth going ahead and moving forward with an offer on that home. And just know that even in doing so, you might find yourself in a competing situation. So it's important to work with a knowledgeable agent that can get your offer accepted, like me. This next one is a pretty big indicator of where the mindset is of people regarding the market, whether you're a buyer or a seller. And this key metric or statistic that we're getting ready to talk about is called inventory of homes for sale. Now, what this specifically references is how many homes are currently available for sale in the market. If we look at last year, there were 189 single-family homes in Brighton for sale. And in July of this year, 2020, there are 109 single-family homes for sale. That is a decrease of a whopping 42.3%. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can tell you is that in my opinion, this demonstrates that there's a ton of buyers out there. We just don't have enough homes for them. The last metric that I want to point out to you is the month's supply of inventory. So what this means is how many months of inventory we have before all the homes are sold. So in July of 2019, our month's supply of single-family homes in all of Adams County was 2 months. And what is absolutely mind-blowing to me is that currently in July of 2020, our month's supply of inventory for Adams County is 0.9%. This means despite the pandemic, despite any uncertainty that people are currently feeling, we are still very much in a seller's market and that the market is sizzling hot. So the difference between July of 2019 and July of 2020 year over year and month supply of inventory is a decrease of 55%. If you have any questions or you need some assistance, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. In the description below is a link to this market report. Feel free to download it. And if you haven't already, please click on that subscribe button.